Sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Sha-na-na-na-na.
Trying to harmonize.
Sha-na-na-na-na-na-na. Sha-na-na-na-na.
Hey,
You don't know nothing about that.
you ready?
You not about that Brady Bunch life.
Oh my gosh, I remember the Brady Bunch. I ain't that young.
Yep. And we're at it again, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
It's the Claires.
The Claires. I love it.
Yeah, my lovely wife, Miss Deidra Deneise.
Hey, y'all.
And of course, me, D2thaC.
My awesome husband.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that.
No problem.
I received that. Mm-hmm.
You should. You're amazing, babe.
It's been a minute.
It has been. It's been too long.
So, what do you want to talk about?
Well, you posed a great question earlier. You want to tell the people what you were talking about? You said something about struggle love, and you asked me if I had ever experienced struggle love. Do you remember how you defined it over the phone? What struggle love to be?
You know, my mind goes a mile a minute.
I think you were saying something like, have I ever given love and not received it in return?
So struggle love, part of it is when you find yourself being the one who's doing the most, for lack of a better term, and your partner is not participating with you, or you're pouring into your partner and all your partner is doing is taking and not pouring anything back into you, which therefore leaves you feeling drained and broken, in spirit, and broken in your heart, and you're trying to figure out how to fix this. And listen, I'll be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to fix it.
Okay.
The reason being is because at that moment, it should tell you everything you need to know to get up and slowly walk away.
I guess it kind of depends on the situation that you're in. Like, are these people that are dating? Are these people that are already married? That lets you know if it's easy to be able to walk away from the situation or not. My response to that question, though, was one that you thought was interesting. Because on one hand, where I could say, yes, I have experienced struggle love where I felt that I was pouring and doing all that I could and not receiving that same energy. So yes, on one hand, I have experienced that kind. But what I was playing, I guess, kind of an advocate, what I realized was sometimes we're not speaking the same love language. And because we're not speaking the same love language, then one can feel deprived, although their significant other, spouse, or better half actually could be showing love in a way that they know to show the love. So there is a book called, I think, The 5 Love Languages, or the 7 Love Languages. Yeah. I think it's 5.
Yeah.
And I haven't had a chance to read it all, but I've heard so much about it. And they were just saying how, one person's love language could be, say, acts of service, and another person's love language can be gifts. So if the person who loves gifts says that, hey, I'm going to show this person love by buying them things and giving them gifts, but that isn't how the other individual receives love. That other individual's like, hey, well, I want quality time, and I appreciate the gifts, but you're giving me no quality time. So the person that requires quality time or affection, they're feeling just as drained as the person who's not receiving gifts. So then we go into this yoke thing, and that's what we were talking about. Are you two equally yoked? Equally yoked isn't just based on your faith. It's based on your upbringing, your culture, your experiences, and things of that nature. So I have experienced struggle love from not being equally yoked with the other individual.
So that's the thing that we were talking about, and sometimes you'll hear me talk about it on the radio, but we were talking about being evenly yoked and how that plays an important part. But in our situation, it was a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because in a sense, we were evenly yoked already, but we had been working on that process 25 years ago, not knowing that it was going to come into what it is today with us being married.
Right.
The thing is how does one determine if they are evenly yoked with another person, unless you are dating with intention or anything of that nature? Sometimes you really you have to take the time to learn that person,
right? Their
likes, their dislikes, the do's, the don't do's, the say this and the don't say that, or but
mindset.
But again, it's still if you're giving and your other party is not giving, that becomes a huge problem. It just becomes devastating to the relationship because nothing gets reconciled.
Right. And can you kind of articulate what you feel is not giving? Is it just a person who's not putting forth any effort at all, or are they putting forth effort and missing the mark? Like, what do you define?
You know what? It's almost like, I'm about to use this. It's almost like being on the job and you have a certain skill set that works very well. And when people see it, they give you high praise and, but then you got that one teammate who thinks that there's an I in team. Okay. And is not willing to reciprocate what it is that they know about you. Instead, what they want to do is they'll receive all of the accolades that you've gotten as if they played along, but the bottom line is they're
not really playing along.
No, they're not bringing anything to the table.
Gotcha.
You can already put the table up. All they got to do is show up. But in that case, they don't show up.
Yeah. Well, I know that I have, there's women that I coach and things of that nature. And again, it does go back to the level of relationship that we're talking about. Obviously, if you're not, being pleased, if you're not being loved the way that you want to, and you're in the dating phase, then yes, like you said, raise that one finger up, that church finger, and, exit quietly.
You should have an exclamation point that just shows up above your head and just keeps buzzing like.
Well, believe it or not, it just depends on where the people are when they're dating, where they are as individuals. You said something. You say you have to take the time to get to know a person. True. A lot of times when you're looking for love, or when individuals are looking for love, sometimes they're frantically looking for love. Sometimes they're looking to fill a void. Sometimes they're out there because they're lonely and they're just looking to get rid of that feeling. So they're not really looking for love, and that's when you have to ask yourself, what is love, at the end of the day? And that's where I have to find myself, if it's just based on human or worldly standards, then that version of love is always going to be changing, forever changing. So for me and myself, I had to look at the biblical version of love, and what did God have to say about love, because his word is not, it's unchanging. Exactly. So when it talks about love is patient, love is kind, love is not fault finding, it always protects, it always serves. When it starts talking about that, those are that's the fruit that I'm looking for when I'm trying to get to know someone. Right. So when I don't see that, when I see somebody who's critical and I see somebody whose talk does not line up with their walk, those are the glaring red flags. And I know to pay attention to that, but when you don't know what love is, you don't know what God's standard of love is, then you're just out here, shooting in the dark. Well, he's tall, he's cute. That's not love. No,
and there's more to it than being in a relationship. First of all, if your foundation isn't great with God, that's the first thing that you need to work on, because everything you do should be tailored after what God tells you and shows you. A lot of times y'all go in and get outfits made up for yourselves and they don't fit. They're not looking right. Just saying, you got to get tailored for God. You got to be at your best.
I like how you did that.
If you're gonna be in a 3-piece, with a copper bond or whatever you're gonna wear, it's got to be fresh.
Tailor made.
Ladies, same way. You go get you don't go to just know anybody to get your nails and your fingernails and all this. You don't go to just know anybody.
That's true.
You got a special person that knows just how to get you right.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Because your significant other might be able to tell that, you didn't go see Pedro today, huh?
No, I was Pedro's assistant. No.
and you walked out like that, huh? You need to go on back and get that 45 back. Yeah,
I'm telling you, because like you said, when you're doing it God's way, and you're seeking him for who he has for you, then will the person be perfect? No, because none of us are, but they will be perfect for you. Right. And that's the thing. And I know when I was single and asking God to show me, he had me to write a list of everything I was looking for in the man. Yeah. And I've written lists before and I'm like, this don't work and blah, blah. And I was telling him, he said, I only want to know what you want. Because I was so quick to say, I don't want a man that's going to distract me and a man that's going to play with my feelings. And I don't want no man. God said, I only want to hear what you want. And that took me a while because I knew more of what I didn't want than what I did want. So writing that list literally had me in tears because it took faith to write the list. As I was writing the list by faith, my flesh was like, there's nobody out here like this. Like, this is a needle in a haystack. Like, doubt was trying to come over me as I was writing out this list. And I'm like, but God kept encouraging me, continue, tell me what you want. But the reason he was doing that is so that when he sent you, my baby. And when he sent the one, I would know that he came from him because he knew what I put on that list. And another important thing about that list, when I wrote it and I gave it to God and I prayed over it, I thought that was it. You know what the Lord told me? He said, become the list. I said, now, come on, Jesus. He said, now become the list, because it's not about you finding a good man, but are you a good woman for the man that I have? A good woman for the son that I will be bringing you. And I was like, wow. So I had to make sure that I was doing the work on myself to heal and to get my attitude in check and all of these things, you know, so.
It's funny that you say that, because like getting your attitude in check. So I'm now learning these scenarios and how it plays a part in this relationship, and the things that I have to work at and practice on so that the relationship thrives and flourishes. Because I'm be honest with you, I don't hear God the same way that my wife hears God when he speaks to her. It's totally different for me. There was a point in time when I was telling her, like, I don't hear him like you hear him. Matter of fact, I don't hear him at all. So what is this hearing like? You know, so it took me a while to kind of figure it out. And then one day I was sitting in the living room and, you know, a song came across my mind. I was like, okay, why did that song come across my mind? And then it hit me. Yeah. That God speaks to me through music a lot of times because of my musical background as being a DJ. Yeah. And I associate a lot of things with music. And that also brings me to the point where, like, one of our brothers who will be on here, Elder Kenneth Moore,
what's up? Shout out, bro.
He broke it down to me so hard one day. He said, see, what happens is, you know, I like the way when y'all be mixing and then y'all be scratching and, you know what I'm saying, your blends be on point. And I said, yeah, you just explained to me everything that I need to know of what I'm doing wrong in this relationship and trying to learn. I should be blending when instead of scratching, because all I'm doing is scratching this record up and it ain't sounding right. And the record represented you, right? You know, so that part right there of being able to understand now how God moves me to learn and be, you know, and trust me, it does take some doing to be in a relationship, because a relationship is work.
It is.
But if you put God first in everything that you do, he will guide you and lead you through what it is that you need. There was a time where you couldn't get me to pick up the Bible and read it.
Right.
You know, even though now we have the apps on our phone and everything, it's nothing like picking up the Bible. But at the stage that I'm at, well, I need some cheaters. That I can always magnify on the phone though. So if I do get my read on, you know, and sometimes I'll be up at 3:00 in the morning and, you know, it'd be me and God just sitting there and I'll be reading and listening and, you know, and a lot of people can see the change that has happened. They some people still trying to figure out what happened. What is going on with you? Like you just glowing and then, well, I don't know nothing about glowing, but I am different.
Yeah, you're having a true encounter with God, really.
Absolutely.
You know, and you know, because the way that we show love to one another, first of all, it is sacrificial. And the way that we love each other also, it's worship as unto God. You know what I'm saying? I'm so grateful for the man that you are in my life. I'm so grateful for you being in my life at this season, loving me the way that you love me. You know, I want to show God my thanks by treating you very well. Yes. You know, and I feel that you're doing the exact same thing. Right. And that's what makes relationships beautiful, is because it's one person serving another. You know, and that was based on the dynamics that we saw going back to the beginning of this relationship and being equally yoked. We saw our parents do the exact same thing. Right. And they loved each other sacrificially and as unto God until death did they part. Right. You know, so that's the only example that we have. But when we were in other relationships, you know, people were coming at us individually like, what can I get from this person? What can I get out of her? What can I get out of him? You know, because probably that was either their model or maybe they came up in single households, you know, single parent households, and they experience more struggle. Who knows in that area, you know? So that's why it's very important to really seek God.
And that's not to call anybody out and say that they're a bad person.
Right. Absolutely not.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely not.
That's not the intent here. You know, at the end of the day, y'all been forgiven. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, what worked for you just didn't work for us, but this is working.
Well, right, this is working really well.
So thank you. Absolutely, thank you.
Thank God for them messing up. But, but no, you know, and that's why you got to use wisdom. It's not about exposing people, but exposing the spirit. Right. And so, like, again, it goes back to equally yoked or unequally yoked, which could cause that love struggle. I was in a relationship with a young man who grew up in a single parent household. You know, he grew up with his mom, and his mom did everything, you know, and that's what he knew. Hey, mama worked. She made sure that, I had food on the table, clothes on my back. She did everything. Well, I grew up in a household with two parents where my father was the one to provide and my mother made sure she nurtured and took after us. So us coming together, I'm trying to submit and to a man and allow him to lead, and he would never lead because he did not have that example in his life. Yeah. He would just, pretty much come to me like, okay, what are we going to do? What do you want to do? And it was posed like it's all about you, but it wasn't. He really just didn't know how to lead. He didn't know what to do. And his example was his mother doing everything. So maybe he was showing me love to the best capacity that he could. But compared to my experience, it just wasn't measuring up. So now I'm lacking the love that I want. I'm sure he's lacking the love he wants because I'm not doing everything. I try, but I'm not built like that. Right. So it's a lot of things that can contribute to that struggle love. So I just say, take your time, get to know yourself, especially as women, because I didn't try. God told me to find my purpose, because it is he that finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor. So as I'm finding my purpose, there's going to be men that approach you, but if you know what your purpose is, you'll know which man will take you all the way off course and which man is going to draw you closer to God, and that's what's really important. But women aren't waiting to find their purpose. They're waiting on that man, like they waiting on a bus. And I'm like, you don't know what it takes to find a man. You don't know what God has in store. So just find yourself getting busy in your purpose, and God will make sure he sends a man that will complement that.
Yeah, absolutely. You should be focused on you and doing what you need to do, instead of worrying about when he's coming, if he's coming, or what is he going to look like. Because I'm gonna be very honest with you again. I've known this young lady for over 25 years at this point. Never once did I ever think it would come to this, us being married and whatnot. Matter of fact, it was the furthest thing from my mind, because I'm just a DJ. I'm just the guy that produces music, but I was so vested in her craft and what she was doing,
and just being a person, just being a great friend,
and even being concerned with some of the guys that she dated. I knew them, but at the same time, it was just like, yeah, that ain't the one. Yeah, that ain't the one. And exactly. you know it, because it's like when you don't hear from them for months on end, you like, okay.
You in another relationship.
Here we go.
And it's so crazy, because you being in a previous relationship that wasn't, the best. And I would find myself, we would talk, we would encourage each other, because we were in different relationships, and, it just was not working out. But I found myself just praying for him. And I'm like, God, he is a really good man. I want him to be with a good woman. I want to see him with a good woman. I want to see him saved. I want to live to see it, not knowing that I was praying for my future husband.
And everything
that is so crazy. He was everything, dying. You are everything that was on my list. So at times, y'all, he like, why you be looking at me like that? And why do you love me so much? I'm like, how the Bible talks about the word became flesh with Jesus? My prayers, everything I wrote on that list became flesh when God revealed him to me. I'm like, so as I see him walking around the house and doing this thing, and we're just sitting, talking, eating dinner, watching TV, I'm looking at my prayers in flesh form, and it blows my mind every day. So I'm just so grateful for you, Dave.
I mean, I appreciate that. I feel the same way, because sometimes when I look at you, I'm just like, for me? Really? For me?
That is so sweet. You know me? Y'all can hear. You know me? I love you. Okay, now we doing too much.
And on that note,
it's time to wrap it up.
It's time to wrap it up. And as always, as we say, if you are interested in dating us, learning a little bit more about yourself, we do lunch. This brother and sister do like to eat. I'll just let you know that. So
we got some really exciting things coming down. Like just what is it called? I'm losing my train of thought. Subscriptions and things of that nature to join a community of believers, of couples. It doesn't matter if you're a couple or single. You're just trying to figure out what it takes to really find that soulmate in your life. We're willing to open up, and tell you and be totally transparent, on our mistakes, on our achievements, and things of that nature.
It's a learning experience for everybody, even us, So being able to commune together, helps make bonds stronger.
Yes.
And it's just, it's just us.
Yeah.
We are who we are. There's nothing to sugarcoat or anything of that nature. We are who we are.
But we are the bomb, though. We are the bomb.
We
like he's being real modest. We boasted in Christ. We
aight.
But no, man, we look forward to hearing from you guys. I'm sorry to cut you off. But yeah, we look forward to hearing from you guys. If y'all have any questions, whether it's how we met or how we deal with certain situations, or it's just a question that's on your heart and mind that you need help with in your personal life, we are willing to answer it on the podcast.
Girl, we have an email.
Yes, what is it? Tell the people. An email, y'all. We done leveled up.
We have an email that you can reach out to us on. It is...
See there, you were supposed to have it ready. Is it itstheclares@gmail?
itstheclares@gmail.com.
Spell it for them.
It's ITS, the THE, Clairs, CLAIRS, at gmail.com.
Gmail, send your questions there and we will be glad to answer it on the next podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Till next time.
Oh, you got to tell them about the YouTube channel.
Oh, yes. Before we go, we are on YouTube, and the YouTube channel is The Clairs, so you can catch us on there. We will be putting some of the older episodes on there, and also the new episodes, and soon to come, video.
Yes, video is coming.
So yeah, prepare yourselves.
Make sure you subscribe and share with a friend.
All right.
All right. Peace.
Peace.